US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is due in Beijing, but he comes at a time when relations between China and America are at their lowest ebb in decades. It's unlikely this meeting will bring any major breakthrough, but it will at least give both sides a chance to state their positions, and it might prevent the relationship from deteriorating further. So what's on the table for discussion? Here are the 5 key sticking points. This visit was initially supposed to happen in February, before it was dramatically blown off course when a balloon was spotted over the US and eventually shot down. The Americans said it was spying, the Chinese said it was a weather balloon. And recently, the Wall Street Journal has also reported that the Chinese have done a deal with Cuba to set up a spy base on that island. Although both sides describe the report as inaccurate, both are extremely wary of the spying and surveillance capabilities of the other. An extensive and growing list of sanctions and trade restrictions exists between the two countries. Both say they want dialogue while taking steps to actively decouple their economies. China, for its part, has made it increasingly difficult for American firms to operate here, while America last year unveiled major new restrictions that prevent companies from selling semiconductors or advanced chip technology to China. It's legislation that will slow China's progress in areas like artificial intelligence, and China believes America is trying to actively contain it. China has never actively condemned or condoned Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine. It's casting itself as a potential peacemaker, while quietly supplying Russia with finance, technology, and crucial diplomatic cover. Earlier this year, America also accused it of considering selling arms to the Russians. Although China denies this, America will want to reiterate its stance that any move closer to Russia would have serious consequences. In recent weeks, the US military has accused Chinese forces of unsafe and unnecessarily aggressive maneuvers in the South China Sea and the Taiwan Strait. In one instance, a Chinese Navy ship cut sharply across the path of a US destroyer in the Taiwan Strait, narrowly avoiding collision. And in the air, there have been instances of Chinese jets flying dangerously close to US ones.
It's dangerous. And one of the reasons we want to keep the lines of communication open, in fact, one of the reasons why we want to make sure we can get that military channel back open, is so that we have a way to talk to the Chinese about incidents like this one. The military-to-military vehicle is just not open to us. It's one of the reasons why Secretary Blinken is so eager to get back over to Beijing.
Chinese fighters are now regularly flying towards the island of Taiwan too. China says it is US presence in the region that is the act of aggression, but the risk of accident and escalation is a real concern. The most volatile of sticking points is over the island of Taiwan. Taiwan is a self-governing democracy, but China sees it as its own, and President Xi Jinping has described reuniting the island with the mainland as at the core of China's core interests. But Joe Biden, the US president, has repeatedly said it would come to the defense of Taiwan if China were to move to take it by force. It is a deeply complex and intractable issue, one that China sees as part of its domestic agenda and that the US sees as a major threat to global peace and security.
They have and will continue to take provocative steps. We understand that. We believe intense competition requires intense diplomacy. It is a responsible way, we believe, to manage tensions, clear up misperceptions and miscalculations even, and it is in our interest to try and figure out a way to work together. And this is what you're seeing. This is what you're going to see from Secretary Blinken's trip when he heads out on Saturday.
Much of this boils down to an increasingly tense standoff for global influence, and the mistrust between the two countries runs very deep indeed. These issues will be very hard to overcome.